should refer it back and rebid based upon what criteria? Is it the criteria of the bid analysis, or is it the methodology and process? And the reason why I asked that question is yesterday, as you recall, I had the opportunity to ask the gentleman from Hudson this question. I had the opportunity to ask this question of the gentlelady from Parity and the folks from World Duty Free. And all of them, winners and losers, have said that the methodology and the process was pretty good. And we're getting down into the dynamics of the scoring matrix. And I read the procurement manual as well, and in the procurement manual on page 2 it says, occasionally this manual refers to a selection committee or an evaluation committee as conducting negotiations on behalf of the city. These terms are to be construed loosely to allow the directors of the city departments maximize flexibility in negotiations with selected proposers. So I look at this a little bit differently. My questions revolve around process and methodology. So my question back to the motion makers is, what did you see in the process and methodology that's bringing this amendment up? And I have a further question once I hear that.
Yeah. Mr. Councilmember Pennington, you wish to respond?
Sure, I'll be glad to respond. I don't know exactly what the jurisdiction of the City Council is with regard to specifying methods for bidding. That's a departmental affair, and we may not have any control over that. What I would like to see personally, as I emphasize, is the individual scores of the people who were on the committee. Now, Mr. Diaz tells us those scores are available today, you know, and they are open records, as shown on page 11, understanding solicitation documents of the procurement manual. So they should have been made available to everybody else, and that's my big point.
Councilmember, if I may, there are no individual score sheets. They took, as Mr. Diaz was trying to explain, they took notes.
Well,
there's voluminous notes. They compiled every scrap of paper. There are no individual score sheets.
Well, I believe the open records provision applies to notes as well, and I do not agree with Mr. Diaz that a consensus scoring is the best thing, because I think it's very important that we're able to show that the committee members acted independently based on their best judgment. If you meld them all together, you can't tell who did what. So I vehemently disagree that consensus scoring is the best, particularly without any record being made of what the individual members of the committee thought about it. As a matter of fact, that's the whole crux of my argument. You can propose whatever you want in the RFP, but then there needs to be a fair process and evidence of a fair process that all things have been considered that should have been considered by an independent body, those committees, and there's no evidence of that.
Thank you, Councilmember. I think that was my question to you, not to the answer to Director Diaz. So my understanding is your problem was with the consensus scoring model.
Yes.
So that's your concern. Councilmember Stardick, your concern, same? Because within there, it shows that the director has the flexibility to do whatever he or she chooses to do within the confines of this procurement manual. And the way I read it, and I spent a lot of time not only looking through the 157-page RFP that was sent out, but this criteria that Councilmember Bradford was a part of, and it gave extreme flexibility to the director of the department to run their directors. Councilmember Stardick talked about qualifications. I'm not here to question anyone's qualifications. There may be some people that question my qualifications to sit here and make this decision. So when it comes to qualifications, that's a different point of view. My questions wrap around methodology and process, and were we fair to all parties? Was it a option that was thorough and applied to all levels? And my conclusion is yes.
Well, if I could respond now, I also object to the fact that
yes,
that the information was not made available, even though it's stated to be an open record on page 11 of the procurement manual. I don't know why the information had been released. If all the information had been released in a timely way, maybe these complaints could have been resolved in the department.
And my last comment would be, I looked at the 2003 process that was put together. In Dave Martin's opinion, it was ripe for fraud. There were some accusations tossed around by a number of individuals that some people were on the take. This is a tough arrangement. I think the process that was put in place directs a number of people to stay away from that fraudulent situation, and I think it worked fairly well. So my point of view is, you can go back to what we did in 2003
Councilmember,
and have fraud, or you can do it this way.
Councilmember, your time has expired.